Hey everybody, welcome back to the Falco. Thanks for joining me. Tonight I'm going to be talking about the Tottenham-Liverpool game today, and I normally don't do a video on a game on the same day, and I like to go home, I like to watch the game on the TV if I can watch it in full. I certainly like to watch the highlights, and then occasionally I'll look through social media as well and see what people are saying, and very often I don't see things the same as a lot of the commentary I see on social media, so that gives me angles to look at and to kind of come back on from my coach's perspective. But this evening I don't think it's worth looking over the game and kind of going through it and looking technically or tactically at goals scored, goals against, the way we defended, the way that we did things. What I think is a bit more pertinent is to look at Ange's role and what he's saying and what he's doing. And for me, the biggest issue that I've got at the moment is Ange is a man of his convictions, and he said that to us, and he said he's not for changing. And he's got very prickly, as far as I can see in the media this evening, about that particular issue. And that's absolutely fine. So being somebody who sticks to their guns, who is not for changing, who believes in what they do and has 100% conviction, that is how you very often get success. These are the people that are successful. So that's absolutely fine. And it's one of the reasons that, he has had success everywhere he's been up until arriving at Tottenham Hotspur. But what I would say is that based on everything that Ange says about he will not criticise referees and he won't sit there moaning about refereeing decisions, he won't complain about his injuries, even though he is obviously talking about it and making it clear, because it is such a serious injury crisis that we have at the moment. I think his job, I don't think, it is his job and it is his role as the manager to find solutions, coax performances and get results, no matter what he has at his disposal. Now, we obviously caveat everything with the injuries that we've got going on. We caveat all of that with the amount of minutes and the load that every player has based on those injuries and the number of games we're in. And it's credit to the team that they are still in all the cups and therefore they are playing so many more games. But it is the manager's job to get a performance out of what he has. And if you're going to be that manager who doesn't complain about the issues, then I'm not in any way suggesting that he should change the way he plays. And the word pragmatic is being used by everybody. We should do this and we should do that. Fine. I may have my own personal views on it and how I would do it if I was in charge. But if you're not for doing that, what I'm looking for is, what have you got within your system, within your tactics, and within the group of players that are available, and in the state that those players are available? What have you got as a manager that sets you apart, that you are able to get performances and results? And right now, we're getting the odd results. We did progress in the cup, but we're not getting performances, and we are conceding an absolute ton of goals. And I know that tonight particularly Ange has come out and said, fairly squarely, that's down to the number of our first team defensive players that are out. But I will circle back to the point that you can't lean on that. So within your system, does your system only work if you have your first teamers, your best players available? Or is there another solution within the way you play? Because if there isn't, then you either have to be extremely lucky by not getting many injuries and suspensions, or you have to have this massive squad with fantastic players throughout, and that's what you lean on. And that's how you're going to beat you're going to beat other teams, and you're going to be successful, is because you've got this incredible squad and you've got this great system that works when you have that squad available to you. I don't think that's a realistic way of doing it. And as I say, I'm not encouraging a level of pragmatism and dropping off, but what I'm not seeing is the solutions on the pitch that the manager clearly thinks are there. he's spoken about this several times, that the coaching staff go in with the players after a defeat or after bad moments, and they're showing them where the solutions are. But I'm not seeing it, so I don't see any evolution in terms of these difficult moments. I'm not seeing this tired team do anything different that is going to lead them to success. They are playing the same kind of system, the same kind of football. They're having to do the same amount of running and the same kind of long back and forward that is only depleting them further. And it's not only depleting them in games where they're losing, but it's depleting them further for games coming up. So I, at the minute, am not able to identify, and this may be a fault on my part, I'm not able to identify what's being done differently. And that, for me, is my biggest issue with Ange. It's not that he's not for changing. If you want to be super attacking, even given that we've got loads of injuries, we've got suspensions, we've got loads of games, absolutely fine. But show me how you are going to make that successful. Show me how you're going to be super attacking without overloading the players, without putting too much responsibility on the young players that are coming in, and getting performances. For me, surely something has to change, and it doesn't have to be pragmatic. It doesn't have to be, all right, we'll drop into a 4-2-3-1 or an old 4-4-2. It doesn't have to be that, but show me or communicate outwardly, maybe not what he wants to do, and show his hand to everybody. But I certainly am not seeing anything that leads me to believe that they have got a set of solutions based on this quite extreme situation we find ourselves in to be successful. Now, that might be a bit unfair, given that this Liverpool team is easily the best team in the country at the moment. They have had loads of rest. They were able to play a much changed team in the cup, so they came into this really, really fresh. They're playing really well. Their starting point was much higher than ours anyway when Arne Slot came in. So there's lots of reasons why we could have lost this game. Conceding 6 goals at home is extremely painful. Conceding another 3 to a very poor Man United team is equally as painful for me. And like I said, what I'm not seeing and what I want to see is what are the solutions in your football. You don't have to go to pragmatic or sitting in or let's have 2 number 6s and protect leads. That's absolutely fine, but show me what's being done differently. Is it where you put the line? Is it how the fullbacks invert? Is it what you're asking from the front 3 when you're asking them to press? So it's not every single possession. I'm not seeing any of these things. I'm not seeing changes in it. So what I'm seeing is a team getting progressively more tired, the same players having to play a huge number of minutes, and the second we play against either a really, really well coached team or a really good team or some very good individuals, is they are picking us to pieces very, very easily. So for me, it's the biggest issue I've got. And as I said, everybody keeps on hammering this point about, even the pundits and the ex-pros, you should do this and you should do that. I am not of a level and have not coached at the level where I can be questioning somebody who's coached at senior professional level for 26 seasons. I can't question somebody that's had that level of experience and that level of success. But what I can do, as somebody who wants to understand, and it's my football club that I support, I want to understand what's happening, is I would love to be able to put it to Ange, show me what you're doing or what this group of players are trying to achieve that's different, because I don't see the changes. I can see minor things, I can see small things that are being done differently, but some of those are naturally things that you would do facing this particular Liverpool team, and there are tweaks in there in terms of what was done today. Bits and pieces like Sarr's positioning, what Maddison was doing, and the spaces he was trying to pick up but he was unable to because he was having to come deeper. I could see things, but they weren't things that made me believe that this is going to allow us the platform to be super attacking and play really well. Even moving to that faux counter-attacking style that really does work for us, where we are technically not counter-attacking, it's us in possession and we play by drawing teams on or putting teams in a position, then moving very quickly forward, so straightening the game up very quickly. This is a Liverpool team with an incredible press energy, and they're much fresher than us. So again, I didn't see what was being done today to outwit this Liverpool team tactically, to give the players the best platform possible to get any kind of result. And if we'd have gone into that game, put on a performance and lost 2-1, I think we'd be able to walk out and say, or even 3-1, but play fairly well, you'd be able to walk out of that game and say, look, it was a step too far. Fresh Liverpool team, great Liverpool team. And yeah, it was just too far. Given what we got going on, we can deal with that. But the nature of that defeat, and it did look really, really easy for Liverpool. I feel that 6 was them taking their foot off, and 3 certainly was them taking their foot off the gas quite a lot during that game. They could have had a cricket score today. So what is it we're trying to achieve? And if it's quite simply an exercise in, we will only ever play the same way, so it's automatic, that is fine to a certain extent, but you can't sacrifice results because you'll pay with your job. So Ange is going to pay with his job. He can't sacrifice results by always playing the same way, with the ethos that, it's got to be drilled into the players. They've got to understand it. If they're not getting the message, until you're able to turn over the entire team and the entire squad to the players you want who do get it, you'll be gone long before that. So you won't get there. So this is the thing. His experience, his knowledge, what are we trying to do differently? I can't see it at the minute. It's the biggest issue I've got. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for the tweaks and the changes and the things that we do differently. And if it's quite simply just changing personnel as much as possible, but doing the same things, I'm worried for what's coming our way with this run of results, because it's only going to take a little run of poor results, including cup defeats, for this to go sour very quickly. And with the way that fixtures are all bunched up over the next month or so, that could happen very quickly, and we could find ourselves in really deep trouble. And our board hasn't shown themselves to be the most patient, so I don't think they'd stick with it. If we crash out of all the cups and we're, around about mid-table or lower, I don't see them having much patience. So this could be really difficult. So difficult time for Ange. I don't know if he's ever had this in his career. I really hope he has, and he's got the experience and he knows how to turn it around. So let's see what we've got. Plenty more games coming up. And so I'll be back looking at those as they go along. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great Christmas. We're back on Boxing Day. And for those who celebrate, for those who don't, have a great winter break if you're having it. And otherwise, we'll be back for the next game on Boxing Day. Come on, Tottenham.